dem dibin Daesh da xurtir biye Daesh li badiye Suriye da xurtir biye yani bere ceva şart bu ana yani ana سر عردية أبغى بدي ترزي ده بس كريجي خب 10 نين شر أورتي وندا نين شاذر الشر ناكن أنا خب شوالي ده هنا هربي ماجي أو ظني وأنا خورت بني هي بري بيشان رجان لفدر كي نزيك حسكيد سيها ولا ما أكرن يعني شيء تكرن يعني وسأوي وأنا وأمزان بلاني وان يرشي سر حبسي بقام بهولي هر درجة فد نا أكيد يعني قبلك أو شهر ديجي ما تكنا هنا أول سر أبي باندور دكي سر قاتم باندور كي مثلا المثال از بيجم بركو شهر زيدا والديجيما اللي قال لك منطقان ما مجبور بقواتي خوي بر حبسان سفكر قسم قواتي خوي بر حبسان بر قام بهولي ما برا الشر وبقشتي قاندي كل ديجي ما شر تكرن يعني performance ما وهي تحالفه بهذا اللي ديجي داعش كم ترد بيج بركو ام انرجي خو قواتي خو قشكي قواتي خو استخباراتي اللي ديجي وان ددن شغل عندن.
In the last week, Turkey, alongside its proxy forces of the Syrian National Army, the SNA, backed by the HTS, Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, have been waging a war towards Rojava, successfully taking control over Manbij. The next natural target would be Kobani. In this video, we will talk Manbij, Kobani, and the future possible outcomes in the current situation. The battle for Kobane was a turning point in the global fight against ISIS and a defining moment for Kurdish resistance forces. In September 2014, ISIS launched a major offensive to seize the city, which held strategic value due to its proximity to the Turkish border and its location in northern Syria. For the Kurdish People's Protection Units, YPG, and Women's Protection Units, YPJ, Kobane was not just a town, but a symbol of Kurdish identity and autonomy. As ISIS forces besieged the city from multiple directions, they encountered a fierce resistance from Kurdish fighters who were vastly outnumbered and under-equipped. The Kurds' persistent determination became widely recognized when images of the YPJ, including many women combatants standing firm against ISIS, circulated globally. The battle was one of the bloodiest in the Syrian war. The Kurds lacked heavy weaponry but made up for it with tactical ingenuity, urban guerrilla warfare, and an intimate knowledge of the terrain. Despite suffering heavy losses, they used tunnels, traps, and ambushes to inflict significant casualties on ISIS fighters. The tide of the battle turned in the Kurds' favor after US-led coalition forces began launching airstrikes against ISIS positions in October 2014, following international pressure to prevent the city from falling. These airstrikes were crucial in halting ISIS's advance and breaking its siege. By January 2015, after months of fighting, the YPG and YPJ managed to reclaim control of most of the city, driving ISIS out of Kobane. This victory not only dealt a severe blow to ISIS's expansion, but also galvanized international support for the Kurdish forces. In the months following the liberation of Kobane, the Kurds expanded their influence in Rojava, officially known as northern Syria, forming the backbone of the Syrian Democratic Forces, SDF, a coalition that would play a leading role in the fight against ISIS in Raqqa and Deir ez-Zor in the following years. Kobane became a symbol of Kurdish resilience, gender equality, and the broader struggle for self-determination. Manbij had been under the control of the Syrian Democratic Forces, SDF, since 2016, after a hard-fought battle to liberate the city from ISIS. The offensive meant that iconic personalities such as Vian Antar and Abu Layla became martyrs, since Manbij was a vital supply route for ISIS, and its loss marked a major strategic victory for the Kurds and their allies. However, the geopolitical landscape in around Rojava has shifted dramatically in recent years. primarily due to Turkish intervention. As a result, Turkey has repeatedly carried out military operations to push Kurdish forces away from its border, creating buffer zones controlled by Turkish-backed militias of the SNA. In the beginning of December 2024, the SNA backed by Turkey and HTS started to attack Manbij, and within a few days, the SDF retreated from the city to prevent as many civilian casualties as possible. This meant a serious blow to the SDF and the Rojava community, who had sacrificed a lot to liberate Manbij years ago. The operation of Turkey involved coordinated efforts by the SNA, FSA, and even the Islamic State. The loss of Manbij is significant not just for the Kurds, but for the stability of the region. Manbij had been a model of multi-ethnic governance under SDF control, with Kurds, Arabs and other groups coexisting in relative peace. The city's capture marks a reversal of Kurdish territorial gains and could lead to further instability, as the new governing factions lack the inclusive framework established by the SDF. This loss is also a reflection of the changing alliances in the region. As US military presence in Rojava has been reduced, Turkey has filled the vacuum, aggressively pursuing its interests while forcing the SDF to retreat. Manbij's fall indicates that the SDF's capacity to hold territory is increasingly vulnerable to Turkish-backed offensives, raising concerns about the future of other key Kurdish-held cities. Kobane, despite its historical significance and the Kurdish victory in 2015, is once again under threat. With Manbij falling into the hands of the Turkish-backed SNA and FSA forces, many analysts fear that Kobane could be next on their list. Turkey has long made clear its intentions to neutralize Kurdish influence in northern Syria, and Kobane is of high symbolic and strategic importance.
Devasa alanda önemli olan böyle bir birikimi kontrol altında tutmak, kontrollü bir yaşam orada hazırlamak ki oraya da en uygun olan Araplardır. Kürtlerin yaşam tarzının uygun olduğu yerler değildir.
Ne açıdan?
Çünkü buralar adeta çöl bölgeleri.
The city, sitting just across the border from Turkey, has long been a flashpoint in Turkish-Kurdish relations. For Turkey and its allied militias, capturing Kobani would not only deal a psychological blow to the Kurds, but also further solidify Turkish control over northern Syria. The situation is complicated by the presence of ISIS gangs within the proxies of Turkish-backed forces. For many of them, the loss of Kobane years ago works as a motivational force for revenge, and this time they are backed even heavier by Turkey than before. This resurgence by ISIS poses a direct threat to the security of Kobani and the broader region. Turkish military activity along the border has intensified, with frequent shelling of Kurdish positions. There are reports of Turkish-backed forces massing near the border, and many fear that a full-scale assault on Kobani could be imminent. The Kurdish forces, while determined to defend the city, are now more stretched than they were in 2014, as they must protect a broader territory with fewer resources, and international attention has shifted away from Syria's ongoing conflict. If Turkey, through its proxy forces, decides to move on Kobane, the city could face another bloody battle for survival. On December 10th, General Mazlam Kobane announced through social media that an agreement between SDF and the United States was reached to prevent Turkish-backed armed groups from launching attacks on Kobani. The agreement would also ensure the safe withdrawal of SDF forces from Manbij. The US Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, is set to visit Turkey in connection with this development. Meanwhile, the CENTCOM commander, General Michael Eric Kurilla, visited General Mazlum Kobane, something that is viewed on as a significant gesture of support. Although not confirmed, reports indicate that Israel have been playing a crucial role in facilitating these diplomatic efforts. Even if this deal is confirmed by SDF media with an administration change in US around the corner, we never know what could change, and I think Rojava should prepare for the worst. And looking at the future of Kobane and Rojava, it is hard to say what's going to happen, as several possible scenarios can play out, depending on local and international factors. One possibility is that Turkey will continue its push into Kurdish-held areas, either directly or through its proxy forces. If this happens, Kobane could face a sustained military campaign as Turkey aims to expand its buffer zone in Rojava. Given Turkey's military strength, the Kurds would face significant challenges in defending the city without external support. The role of international actors will be crucial. The US, which has historically supported the SDF in its fight against ISIS, may have limited influence moving forward, especially as its military presence in the region has been scaled down. If the US and other Western powers disengage further from the conflict, it will likely embolden Turkey and its allies to push further into Kurdish territory. Russia, which with Assad's toppling have lost its previous role in Syria, and it is unclear if they, with the conflict in Ukraine, see any interest in regaining it for now. On the Kurdish side, the SDF is likely to continue defending its territory. The fall of Manbij has already weakened Rojava's position. If Kobane is attacked, the SDF will likely resist fiercely, but without additional resources, the outcome could remind us of a similar scenario to what happened in Kobane 10 years ago. In the long term, the future of Kurdish self-administration in Rojava may depend on diplomatic negotiations. If a political settlement can be reached with the new Syrian government, the Kurds might be able to secure some form of autonomy. However, this is most unlikely, since the new regime in Syria has close ties to Turkey.
Hemen dibinde kritik gelişmeler yaşanıyor. Ama bunlar ne olup bittiğini takip bile etmiyorlar. Öyle ki dünya yıkılsa, 3. Cihan Harbi çıksa, inanın CHP yönetiminin umurunda olmaz. Mesela şu soruyu kendilerine hiç sormuyorlar. 1. Dünya Savaşı bölgemizde sınırları yeniden belirlerken şartlar başka türlü zuhur etseydi acaba ne olurdu? Kuvvetle muhtemel Halep dediğimiz, İdlib dediğimiz, Hama dediğimiz, Şam dediğimiz, Rakka dediğimiz şehirler tıpkı Antep gibi, tıpkı Hatay gibi, tıpkı Urfa gibi bizim birer vilayetimiz olacaktı.
What do you think will happen? Comment your opinion down below, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram, where we report live news about the conflict in Kurdistan.